Hello and welcome to another LEGO Bootleg review. Today we're looking at two Pogo sets based almost entirely on the Infinity War movie. On the right hand side we have set number PG8130 that contains figures numbers PG1557 all the way to 1564, and on the left hand side we have PG8136 that contains figures 1565 all the way to 1572. For some of the figures, I will compare them with the recently reviewed XINH versions of them and see which one is better. All of these figures have a minifigure stand underneath them. They do not have any spare minifigure hands, although there was just 3 extra hands in the pack. I think that's just down to random. The overall clutch on all of these figures are okay enough, although the Iron Spider's head is a little bit too tight. Not all of them have accessories. Groot has a little tree branch. There's an axe for Thor, which is supposed to look like the Stormbreaker. Spears and blades for these two female warriors on the side here. A gun for Winter Soldier. Some Wolverine-like claws for Black Panther. They work, I suppose, but I'm not a big fan of these claws for Black Panther. I think they do fit more on some sort of like Japanese assassin or actually Wolverine himself. War Machine Mark III here does have a bulky shield slash armor piece, much like the XINH one, but he is missing the front panel on his helmet. The best accessory here out of all these figures is probably Doctor Strange's 2 magical shield plates. If you just think about Captain America's regular shield with the handle on the back, instead they molded it with transparent orange and printed gold patterns on them, and the print on this shield is actually pretty decent. Over the past year, Pogo has improved their printing quality by quite a lot, but when you look at these figures, yikes, they've gone back to almost the first batch of figures that they ever made. The printing quality here is pretty bad. Recently I reviewed some Pogo stuff that used digital printing, which I'm not a fan of because it's a little bit bumpy, but at least the digital print was quite high res, so the image was actually okay overall. You can check the anime and Gundam video that I reviewed like a week or 2 weeks ago. But here, these are using pad printing, but the overall print is smudgy at best. Lines are too thick, details are missing. The best print from this set is Doctor Strange's shields, maybe the female iron suit, but that's about it. The rest of them have really bad printing. Not only that, none of these figures have any back face prints in both sets. If we take a close look, they got really lazy with some of these figures. The two versions, Black Panthers, War Machine, and Ronin there do not have any face print whatsoever. It's just a black minifigure head underneath. That's just lazy. And speaking of lazy, doesn't Ronin actually have a hood? Why are they using the new cheap Iron Man helmet? It just doesn't work here. It doesn't look like a hood. It looks like a helmet. In fact, when I first saw the name, I was like, it says Wolverine. This is Wolverine in an Iron Man suit? No, this is Hawkeye as Ronin, which is supposed to have a hood, not a helmet. So no, that doesn't work. So after taking all of these masks and taking a closer look, the only extra face that we do get here is Pepper Potts right there. And it's okay, except we have had this suit done by other brands in previous sets, done better a long time ago. So unless you're just missing this figure and you can't find the older versions from other brands, I guess this is okay. And the back of these figures suffer the exact same problem. Although if there's any consolation, they did add a little bit of back printing on the 2 Black Panthers. By the way, Doctor Strange is missing his signature white hair bits on the hairpiece. So aside from Doctor Strange, all of these figures do have printing. And the detail on them is a bit better than the torso printing. You know, not only is this mask poorly printed, you got the eye smudges there and whatever, it doesn't even have that satisfying click. I mean, Pogo's done Iron Mans before, and they have that click when you close the mask, just like the official ones. So that you have to actually make a new mold without the click. What the hell happened? This is bad. Yeah, that means the mask is gonna open very easily, and that's gonna get annoying very quickly. The second set we have here fares a little bit better, but is by no means good. The lining on the print quality here is a little bit thicker than I like it to be, but it's sharp enough where, just comparing to the other set, it looks much better. Although the coloring for the most part seems a little bit faded, especially on the Iron Spider suit. It's just not good. This is probably the worst Iron Spider bootleg that I've reviewed on this channel. Not only is his suit printing a bit faded, but the iron claws on his back the color just doesn't seem right. I don't like this figure. The rest of these figures also seem to have a poor choice of plastic coloring as well. Nebula and Star-Lord there specifically, that red is far too bright. I get it, perhaps they're trying to save money by using the same red that they use on Spider-Man, but even Spider-Man should be a slightly darker shade of red here. Something just looks wrong here. When people think of Bootleg, this is the colors that people would imagine in their heads when they say, oh, that's slightly off-colored Spider-Man or slightly off-colored Batman that you see in those big packets. And this is what we got here. The colors just aren't quite right. Although I would still say that the Groot coloring here is better than the official Lego one, much like the XNH one is also better than the official Lego one. Lord's pistols are the wrong color. And what happened to her skin color? Does she have that same disease that Michael Jackson has, where the black pigment just fades away? Right in the middle there, I don't know what happened. That's supposed to be Wong, but when I look at that figure, I keep thinking it's the guy who trains Doctor Strange in the first movie that goes bad at the end. Yeah, that color skin's too dark, it doesn't look Wong enough, and again, the back print quality is almost the same as the front. We do get some back leg printing here, just trying to even out the looks of these figures. Got some tree branchy stuff on Groot. Some boots there that's misaligned for Star-Lord. Okay, back boots for Winter Soldier. Some robe printing there. Spider stuff on his legs, but it's too faded, too dark to see. They might as well not print it there. Ugly shoes for Peter there, and nothing for the back of the Wakanda Lady Warrior there. Looks like she's waving her butt out. And all of these figures again, apart from the last one here, have side arm printing and leg printing, where they try to even out and justify the shapes of the boots on the legs. But that's okay, the lines are thick. It looks like someone got a bit of a thin marker pen and just drew on them. Not that great. Nebula does have alternate arm printing on the other side. You know, these goofy colors on Peter Parker reminds me of like some weird street punk that you would get in a 90s arcade beat 'em up where all the colors are wrong. And I get it, they used the blue color because that's what his shirt is underneath, but he's wearing a hoodie over that. And they printed the hoodie color on his arms. It just makes him look really stupid. Out of this set is probably the Winter Soldier here, because the printing is actually sharp enough and the overall figure looks pretty good, and I like the hairpiece that they've chosen as well. Which is a shame, because this figure also has really good printing, but the colors of the plastic is completely wrong for her skin color, which just means that's pointless then. Just get the XINH one. So this one's the good one. Comparison versus the XINH one stuff with Pogo on the left and the XINH one on the right. With Doctor Strange, I will say that the Pogo shields are also just as nice, but there are fingerprints on one of mine. So if you do pick this up, be aware that I have no idea if you're going to get the smudged shield or not, so you might need to pick up more than one if you can't see them in person before buying them. Other than that, the brown tone on the Pogo one is nicer and slightly more accurate, but the overall quality on the XNH one is just nicer. That and the XNH one actually has white bits on the hair. The cape fabric is nicer, it's like double layered, furry one side, shiny on the other, whereas the Pogo one is still that crappy packing stuff, that really thin, shiny piece of fabric that can just split it quite easily. So that's not nice. And the XNH one, of course, has a second face. Do I even have to say anything with the Spider-Man one? The one on the left looks ridiculous. Moving on. With this Thanos' general here, whatever he's called, I forgot his name. Squidward. Yeah, smudgy print, wrong colors. The one on the right is much more accurate to the official Lego one. And Pogo even changed the facial expression on the left. Looks like they took some other figure's face and altered it slightly. Pogo Groot is almost the same. It's slightly more browny, greyish color plastic compared to the slightly more yellow plastic of the XNH one. But the XNH has better coloring. So yeah, so if you pick up the Pogo one, it's not bad, but there's a better one out there for the exact same price, so why not get the better one? Decent printing, one plastic color. Moving on. A War Machine Mark III. Now Pogo has gone with trying to copy the official figure, and it just looks bad. Look how faded and smudgy it is. And if you only have an iron pack, like an armor piece, why do you need to print the Iron Man armor on the body again? That's like armor on top of armor, but it's not the Hulk Buster, so why would you do that? So, you know, just put that on. So I much prefer the more natural approach with XINH, where I just gave him like some black, muscular texture there. I mean, that's fine, but at the end of the day, it doesn't even matter what you print underneath there because it's all faded. Putting the armor on again, you see a huge difference in quality. It just, you even get more accessories with all these XINH figures. Now, I can't comment on what the face plate looks like, because I'm missing it. And this next joint is a little bit tight, so I'm just gonna put that there. Whereas here, we actually get a proper minifigure head. It goes that down, you got a proper printing there. Even the arm printing is much more detailed compared to the Pogo one, where it just has some sort of generic print there. Just a shame. As for the other figures I didn't compare, XINH has produced almost all of these figures as well. So here's the thing, if you can pick up the XINH one, just do that and forget this set. I have no interest in keeping any of these figures from this set for any purposes whatsoever. I'm gonna get rid of them, I don't care about them. I know for the exact same price I can get something much better, more accessories, better print, better clutch, better plastic coloring. What's the point? The only ones I think that you could get is that if you really want brown Star-Lord pistols, or this version of Doctor Strange's shield. But even then I wouldn't keep the figure, I just get the shields and then give that to the XINH figure and call it a day. That's a huge shame. Like when people say bootlegs are bad, they look at these. They'll probably still think these are okay if they're not seeing other bootlegs, like better ones, but just no. So, what do you think about these sets? Do you have any of them, or you have any of the recent Pogo stuff as well? Leave a comment below on how you think about these compared to the XINH ones, if you can pick those up as well. As always, if you found this video useful, click the like button, subscribe button if you haven't done so already, and of course, support this channel by visiting Patreon and supporting it there if you'd like to do that. As always, take care, have a nice day. I'll see you guys soon. Bye bye now.